roll call.
Sure. Commissioner Livermore,
Here?
Commissioner Nikki Toby,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley, Commissioner Boschnick, and Councilmember Harrington.
Yeah, here.
All right, thank you. We need to, first on business is select a chair. Does somebody want to nominate?
Oh, you start.
I nominate Sue.
I second that.
Second it? Any discussion? Okay, let's call the roll. Vote.
Sure. Can you, Commissioner Livermore, you accept? I guess that's
Yes,
how
I
that
guess.
goes. Commissioner Nikki Toby,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boschnick.
Yes.
Okay. All right, give you a chance to review the minutes. Can I entertain a motion to accept the minutes from last meeting?
That's a lot of exercise.
Okay, is there a second? Any discussion? Go ahead and take the vote.
Okay. Commissioner Livermore,
Yes?
Commissioner Nikki Toby,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boschnick.
All right. And is Mr. Lobb here? Mr. Lobb, okay, we're gonna take your appeal first of all. I believe, if I understand correctly, we're focusing on just the one on the smoke and heat detector and alarms. So you said in your appeal, Mr. Lobb, that it was confusing with the other due dates, is that
Correct.
correct?
They were just all listed together, and then there was like 9/22, 8/23, 9/22, 9/22, so it's a little confusing when you look at it as a reminder. So
Mhm.
I wasn't sure if there's anything.
I'm not, with all due respect, I'm not aware of anything we could do. Board, I mean, there's nothing the code officer has done incorrectly.
When I was here 2 months ago, there was discussion that, although the fine itself maybe not, couldn't be changed, that the late fee could be, that this council was given power to be able to do that. And they postponed my appeal to be able to do that, if I recall correctly.
If I recall, there had been a new code to do with the process of appeal.
Right.
And the fees, and had not been made aware of it, so basically we point blank said we should have your case and others later to the certain code.
Exactly.
I do not believe the new code applies to your case.
And why is that?
The provisions that we have, sir, here, none of them actually would fit your scenario, is it? Am I?
They're no retrospective, yes.
Yeah.
What are the provisions?
So, evidence of prompt corrective action, which doesn't seem to be the case here. In other words, you quickly acted upon it. Demonstration of lack of legal.
What do you mean by, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but what do you mean by that? I mean, I was,
In other words, once you found out if the code officer informed you, then you would quickly respond. Am I understanding that? We respond quickly to that.
I guess
Measure.
I did respond quickly in that, as soon as I found out there was a violation, that I did appeal it that day. I found out as I turned in the paperwork on the 22nd.
Is that what's your response,
So,
John?
the original letter, the administrative fee letter, dated July 24th, 25, says smoke detector and alarm shall be submitted to due date of 8/23/25. And we received it September 19th.
So that's late already.
Right,
Was it late already by your standards or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Because anything could have happened between 1 month, even 1 week.
you wouldn't see it as following that, the prompt.
Yeah, I mean, mean,
I guess how was I supposed to act prompt other than, you know, I made a mistake, which I'm aware of, but what would be an example of me acting prompt?
Had you were notified of certain things that had to be done, had you done them on time, there would be no case. That's problem.
August, September.
You were late in complying with the code.
I understand that, but the way he read it doesn't
Well,
mesh.
that's, okay, well, that's what it means, I believe.
Yeah, that's the way I understand
It wasn't that you
it.
were late coming to the meeting, or you were late
Right.
responding to the challenge that you now owe extra fees. You were late in actually complying.
But what it says is that I was being prompt once I was made aware, and until then, I was not aware, is I guess would be my. Like I went in on the 19th, delivered it to the office thinking I was on time doing just fine.
Is there proof that he wasn't aware?
I mean,
You don't
we sent
have
the
any-
administrative fee letter in July, and it
Right.
was signed for, and I don't know how you guys wanna interpret
Was-
if he was aware or not, but,
Yeah,
It was signed for.
yeah.
I think we've treated this before.
Mhm.
It was signed for, that's proof that he was received.
yeah. So, do I entertain a motion concerning this to accept or deny?
And what are the other provisions?
Oh, the other, I'm sorry, yeah. Demonstration of a lack of legal control. In other words, you as the owner of the occupant don't have the legal control over the premises. Preventative measures undertaken prior to violation, such as like, Tennis knows, says examples include lease language, signage, tenant notices, or verifiable efforts. And the last one is mitigating circumstances. The violation was caused by events beyond the appellant's control, such as medical emergencies, vandalism, and third-party error. So, someone enter,
So the motion would be for the administrative fee to stand. Anything
to,
else?
yeah, either to accept,
I move to deny the appeal.
okay, all right, is there a
A
second?
second.
Any discussion?
So
Alright.
will I get a new bill, or do I just assume that this is?
Does he get, or is it just,
Yeah, it's just the bill,
Okay,
yeah.
so do I have any timeline when I have to complete this, or?
You should aim for September, October, before they re-levy it of 2026, so you have a lot of time.
Okay, and this is, just for my clarification, the $250, the initial fee is because it wasn't done, which I understand. And the additional $250, $10 today, what's that $10 per day for?
that's, that carry from the initial fee, right, every day after that, it's $10 added onto it, is that correct, John?
Yes.
So
So
is that a
every day-
penalty of some sort, or?
What happens, the initial fee is basically, to get your attention, and the $10 is to make sure that you don't wait too long. We have cases where people have waited months and months and months, and the $10 fee is supposed to encourage them not to wait months and months and months. That's what it's for.
So it's a fine.
All of it is a fine.
So can this council do this?
Pardon?
Can this council fine people like that?
It's not a fine, it's an administrative fee.
That's correct.
That's not what he just said.
Well,
I'm the city attorney, I'm the one who can answer that question, he's not the lawyer, I am.
That's
Yes, you
correct.
can.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I used the wrong words.
okay, no, just want to clarify.
It's
Can I-
in the statute, the statute's online,
Right,
like read the city code, it's online.
That's fine.
correct. So may I think, any other discussion? Let's call for a vote, please.
Sure. Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicky Toby,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Bostock.
Right, motion passes. I'm sorry, we can't help you, sir.
No, thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, the second one is 911 Center Street. Mr. Misselino? Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. I'm sorry, sir. Thank you, Bonnie. It's 24 Grand Street, Mr. Katz. Okay. Now, your situation, if I understand correctly, was that you didn't get notified because of various moves?
Yes. I also think that, all my other correspondence from the city does get to the right place. So I don't know if, I know everybody's understaffed and stuff, I don't know if the information just wasn't entered correctly, because all my other correspondence for that property does go to the right address other than, the code office. So I'm not really sure, what happened there. I was on the phone with John on an unrelated subject, and he said, hey, just so you know, you have all these fees that are racking up for this property, and I'm like, I was astonished, really. I said, what are you talking about? That's when this all kind of came to light. And as soon as I found out, we scheduled all our inspections, we had everything taken care of, anything in the housing inspection that came up, we've had repaired since. Everything is currently up to date. So this was really a shock to find out that this wasn't in compliance. I also, during that time period, it shows, I think you guys have the letter as well, that was sent back to you guys saying that I didn't get the notice that was sent out in July of '24. It was sent back to the office, and I actually pulled a building permit on that same property in August of '24. So, and I wasn't notified at that point either about any of this, and the code office had been in there for inspections throughout the renovation and things like that, so I'm kind of just shocked over the entire situation, to be honest. We're in good standing with our other properties, everything's up to date. I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks, but it was never our intention for that to happen. I definitely think, I have no problem paying the fee of not, turning in the papers that I missed, but I'm trying to, I guess, avoid the administrative fees. I obviously didn't do what I was supposed to do with turning in the paperwork at the time, but I obviously was unaware, which you know of, because of the return to sender letter that came back to you guys. I'm also I'm a contractor in the city here, and I'm in the code office at least once a month, sometimes twice, and somehow this didn't get brought to my attention until almost 2 years later, so that's where this fees came from. So I guess that's all I really have. I also, actually, I do have the fire sprinkler inspection was done during that time, and I also, in past years, they have sent that inspection directly to the code office, and last year they did not, so I think that's why I don't have that, but I have proof here, I think John has it as well, that inspection was done during that time.
Okay,
So,
all right. So, Jeff, oh, yeah. Yeah, do you have a question? Go ahead.
Have we looked into why there's a discrepancy on the addresses? Or is there?
So, I knew that something was, so when I saw these fees, we check the software occasionally and we'll go across different properties. And we'll do searches to find out overdue properties. When I saw this, and knowing Matt is in and out of the office all the time, I got him on the phone and I was like, listen, I don't know what's going on here. You've got all these fees. Is this your father? Is this you? I know I think it's an LLC, right?
we own it together, my father lives in Massachusetts, but.
Yeah. So, when I looked into it, I knew that he was in the midst of a move at some point up to his new house. He used to live on Spruce Street temporarily. And we have a property use certification form. You fill that out, and technically, when you move, you have to re-up that information. So the administrative fee letter that was sent went to 95 Spruce, what was on file with us. When I notified him, he immediately came in and changed his address and said, this is my correct mailing address. But at the time, so in our office, that's the information we have, that's documented on paper, was 95 Spruce.
This did go back to the office though at that time, but no one had reached out to me back in '24 saying that, hey, we got this back, where is this supposed to go, or.
No, I mean, the mailing returned to.
Right, because it came back to the code
enforcement
office,
officer.
so showing, obviously I didn't get it. I think, you know, the thing that kind of baffles me a little bit is that I was able to pull a building permit on that property that wasn't in compliance, and nothing against the code office, we have a great relationship, and, you know, we work together a lot. But I think there should be something put in place maybe for the future to avoid a situation that if someone comes in to pull a building permit on a property that's not in compliance, I feel like that should kind of go hand in hand. So-
We do, but we have also had people in numerous times in that same situation,
Yeah.
try to pull a building permit that are not in compliance.
Right.
And we don't tie the two together.
Right.
So we don't wanna stop you from fixing your property.
Sure.
Yeah, obviously, like, if you pull it up and you're in your computer and you're like, whoa,
Right.
what's going on here? But yeah, I mean,
Because if I had known back in, like, I got the letter in July of '24, I pulled the building permit 1 month later, I mean, that would have saved me, according to the bill here, like $8,000, and the bill here is $10,400. So I mean, if I'd known at that time, obviously, you know, we could have dealt with it then, and, you know, we could have been dealing with a $250 fee or whatever it was per thing instead of 10,000, so.
I think what questions or things from the rest of the board?
did you say you were selling the building?
We are selling the building, yes, we're actually under contract, we're supposed to close at the end of this month, so I wanted to, you know, kind of get this dealt with.
When's the date of contract? When did you sign that contract?
We've been under contract, I believe, since the end of December
Okay.
of '25, so, and I don't know how this works, if, you know, we sell the property, if things are not dealt with, does that just get passed on to the other
Yeah,
new owner? That's-
the lien against you.
So, I mean, I'm trying to do my best here to try to clean
The
this
one
up.
thing that you also should understand, and I don't know if you have a corporate attorney or not, but an LLC is required by statute to have an address registered with the Secretary of State's office for process of service.
Okay.
We serve everything on the address that's on the tax bills, because because if we send it, if somebody calls in and says, oh, I'm moving, send it to this address from now on, and then we do it, and they say, what are you talking about? We can't just send it willy-nilly to any address.
Well, so all my other correspondence from the city, my tax bills, everything
I
comes
understand,
right.
I'm just saying, the LLC, the statute that allows you to operate
Oh, I
as a
understand.
corporation.
I understand, yes.
Rather than as an individual, requires that you register with the Secretary of State's office. I went to the registration on the Secretary of State's office, and it did not have your new address on it. So
So the
understand
Secretary
that
of State office
if someone was
doesn't have-
suing your LLC right now,
Yeah,
they would serve the Secretary of State's office,
okay.
and you would never get it, because that doesn't have your address on it. So I don't know who provides you legal advice for your LLC.
Yeah.
But every time you change an address, if you change the legal address, you need to change it with the Secretary of State's office,
Do
because
you know what address that is listed there now?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But anyone can go online to the Secretary of State's office, look under corporation registration, you can see whether you're under good standing. You should talk to your attorney who's representing you now in the
Yeah.
sale, because the buyer's attorney is gonna do a search
Right.
with the Secretary of State's office
Sure.
and make sure that you have good standing.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, 'cause I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can tell you that with the county, it's still the Deerfield.
That's the correct address.
Okay, that is correct. Oh, that's
That's
right,
correct,
right,
yes.
but that's not the 9. right.
No.
That's right. Apologize for that. Other input from the board or questions or,
Well, could I ask the attorney, so you're saying that legally that we met our obligation as far as contacting?
Yeah. I mean, whether there's prompt response or not.
Right.
Well,
That-
the issue seems to be the address that we have on file, so.
Yeah,
I mean, John did tell me the other day that, right, that he did quickly come in once he was aware.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
guess it's
obviously
better
this
for
was a
that
shock
day.
to them, so when you tell somebody they have $10,000 in fines, they get pretty shocked, so.
I think you can see that we're in a stuck.
Yeah.
That you failed to properly register the address, and
I,
you will have to deny your appeal.
yeah, okay. I mean, that's,
There's no other out.
I mean, I believe I did change it with the city because all the other correspondence with the city comes to the correct address. I don't know if on their end, you know, it didn't get changed in office, but all my other city stuff does come to the correct address. So I'm not sure how, and this is actually the department that I deal with the most out of any of them, almost monthly, that, I'm not sure how this, you know, fell through the cracks, but this is a substantial amount of money.
Did,
Right.
do you have proof that you notified the city about the change?
The only proof I would have is that I receive all the other correspondence to the correct address. I mean, this is the only thing that comes to this address. That doesn't come to this address, I'm sorry.
And again, I just wanna let the board know, cause this is a new code that you're dealing with. There are stipulations under that. Again, was he prompt in his action? Can you reduce the fees based off that?
That's what I'm thinking.
I know this is a new code, that's why he's here
Right,
too.
right.
I mean,
Well, we
I have
can't-
no problem.
we can't
paying
simply- we can't just simply
you know,
eliminate
I've heard.
The whole thing with my,
Yeah, yeah, there's a minimum fee
Right.
protection.
The problem is that the code talks about prompt action upon receipt of notice of the violation. And the problem in this case is that he never received the notice of violation because the address was not properly registered with the city. So this section which talks about prompt doesn't, this prompt is not applicable. It says prompt after receiving the violation, then he would quickly make sure that things got fixed up. That did not happen.
Yeah, to me, it's also who was responsible for having the right address, you know, that he's saying that on one hand, that we have the right address, but on this case, it seems to be the wrong address.
That's what I don't understand, is how I get all the other correspondence to the correct address with everything else to the city except for this one. That's what,
Do you have a copy of any correspondence that you received from the
I
city?
don't have anything with me today, but I can send it, I mean, I have tax bill, everything else I'm current on, you know, with everything else for the city.
Yeah.
Table it for the next meeting.
I guess
That's
I didn't
correspondence
think
from
I
the
needed
city.
that.
yeah, I mean, if you wanna make a motion on that you can do it.
The question,
He was like,
does the city have more than one address for individual?
but it was already late by then.
Sometimes I think, from what is, the attorney, city attorney just said, it's possible that if they don't go to register, to reflect the change from the, Albany office,
That's
then
not what he
there may be
said.
two addresses.
He said it should have been registered with us. Because he claims that he's getting correspondence from the city to an address other than what should have been, that we sent this notice to. Does the city have more than one address for various people?
No, we have the address on file. That's the address we had on file via the property use form.
And is this file just for code enforcement, or is this the file for the city?
So if you asked, the finance department gets all their stuff from Montego County.
Okay.
So they would send it to the address on file with the county.
So that'd be a different address.
Um,
A different a different
Right.
source.
what usually happens, and I think the reason that Peter Friedman started this 30 years ago, is we have people buy property all the time, and we can wait up to 6 months for a property transfer, or it to even be indicated by the tax roll. So you go look it up in Otsego County, that information could be 6 months old. We already have a house that's renovated under an owner we don't know, unless we stop them. Say, I'm just giving you an example here. If we stop work order them because we see this happening and say, you need to come to our office and update your address on our property use form. So many times, I would say, most of the time, our addresses are more current than the county's.
So you're
For
saying, I think what you're saying is that it is possible for him to receive correspondence from the city, and that is not the address that you use to send your correspondence.
Yeah, I mean, like at the time, we had 95, no, so what I'm trying to answer your question.
Yes or no?
I'm sorry?
I don't want to, I mean like, because that's ambiguous. You people have a separate address
No, our address, most of the time, matches the county. If somebody buys a property tomorrow, we may have that updated address before the county.
So then you do not believe that he has correspondence from the city that got received at a different address?
Do I believe he got
Yes.
correspondence from the city? I don't, that's
I'd
speculation.
like to move a motion that we table this for the next date, and if he can present updated information that the city did send him, then we would consider based on that.
What are we
I'd
asking
like to
for?
move a motion
She
that
wants to
that
table the thing
For the
until
next
he
day, so if he
documents
has
that he's
proof.
receiving.
Oh, that he's
I have-
received at his
He's
other
receiving
address.
And then in
documentation.
the meantime, we'll just go
Permit
through
that
the
was
code
sent
to
to-
familiarize ourselves with it more.
I have a building permit that was sent to 173 Deerfield Drive. It doesn't have the address on there, but that's where that's where all my mail comes, so that's where it goes.
When was that dated?
That's August 2024. That's the time when I pulled the building permit on 24 Grand Street, 1 month after I didn't get that I have this return to sender from the city.
Oh.
The complication is there, we've already heard that he should have registered as an LLC. Now he's telling us he gets mail with a personal address. How many address
Okay.
registrations does the city have?
So we have, first of all, we have a motion to table it. Is there a second for that motion?
Can you read the motion?
That we are tabling this until the applicant is able to present updated data for proof of address.
Is there a second for that?
That the city sent him.
Yeah, are we on the comment hold?
We just want to say.
If there's no second, it
We
dies.
already have proof that the city sent piece of mail to the address which the city had registered, and it was declined because it was not
So,
accepted.
let me just, before we go on to discussion, there's no second to that motion. Is that correct? Okay, so the motion dies. So now you can go ahead, Mr.
I'm not quite
Mr.
sure
Hartley.
what the motion does. It just simply says, okay, now we're gonna pretend that he can show that he gets mail from somebody else.
No,
But
that's
it
not
doesn't
it.
mean that,
From the city.
it doesn't mean that that's the mail that was sent by the code enforcement
No,
people.
that's not it. The mail has to come from the city. He said
I don't
that
know
he
the
got
has to
mail,
come from the code enforcement.
the code enforcement.
I
He
do
said
have
that the
that.
code enforcement sent him letters after that to the address he
No,
has.
no.
So I'm saying if he has proof of that they have been communicating with him with a new address, then that would be important to know whether we're reducing or not, or, that's important. Because if the code sent him letters after this date, then it's proof that the address they have is the new address, which is what you've asked, and he's not able to answer, that the code has the updated address. You ask for a yes or no, and the code enforcement can answer that.
They should be able to show you that because that's where they send everything
Exactly.
to.
Since the code enforcement can't give us a yes or no answer, that's why I make my motion that we should table it just in case he has an updated information from them proving that they have that address and not. Then we can consider that whichever way it takes for it. But of course, he's already filled the motion, so. Yeah.
And this is a lot of money. This isn't just a small fine. This is clearly, something got messed up
I
somewhere.
mean, the other option is we could reduce the fees, right? I mean, is that legitimate? It's a legitimate,
If you believe that there was a prompt response.
if we think it's a prompt
I'll make a
response.
motion that we reduce the
What
fee.
page has the, total on?
The
I have it
code,
right here. It's $10,430.
And this is off of,
And the sprinkler report that is applying to 3450 here, that was done in that time period, which I have proof of right here.
When was, the sprinkler was done when?
I have all of it here. It's 2023, I believe, was the time that it was due. I have all of them.
So Matt, you're saying that the sprinkler inspection was complete during
Correct.
that period, but we didn't actually receive the
Correct.
report till later, okay.
So I have all of them here. I think that's the past. few
oh,
years.
okay, that's right.
Okay, so what we need to do is look at the violations and see whether he actually did correct the violations in the meantime.
right, to make sure they're,
Once John
That-
notified
that-
me, everything was
That's
done
a big
immediately.
difference.
But I think also the issue of the address that's been used points to some issue too.
I believe that the address was changed because I get correspondence everywhere else, from everything else out of that office to the correct one, except for this property, which
You guys-
I can't wrap my head around that.
Once we move forward, I'd like the code enforcement to take note of this, so that we don't have a precedent on this again, issues of address discrepancy. That would be an issue to look out for
It
next
seems
year.
like we have two things. One of them is that we have to correct the fines because he might have actually corrected the violations, even though he didn't get notice of it. You know, I'm not sure we
These
have
are all
time to do that.
sprinklers.
That's all sprinkler,
So,
Yeah, that,
with all the
I
dates.
tend to think that tabling it would have some value.
okay,
can we table it so that we can find out what his actual bill should be based
Okay.
on?
Could you redo?
Dave,
the
I have a
motion?
question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ari's already made a motion to reduce the fee, and we've done nothing with that. So,
At that point, it wasn't seconded.
okay, so
And-
that goes
and the
away.
chair then dismissed it because it hadn't had a second. That does not mean that there can't be a second motion to table on a different basis. And if one of the board members wants to make that motion, and there's a second, then it can be voted on.
Can I
Right.
remake the motion?
We
You have to redo.
didn't,
You made the motion.
right, to
but
table,
then
that
it was-
went
then
away.
It was not seconded.
Okay.
Correct.
Now there's been additional information, and another board member wants to make a motion to table.
Okay.
But
So
she,
and if there's a second, then it can be voted on.
but prior to that, she made a motion to reduce the fee, and we've done nothing with that motion.
That
That
was
died
not-
as well.
That was why.
I don't think that was actually a motion made, I was just
That was
Suggestion.
she was
entertaining.
Okay,
saying that was
okay.
discussed.
Yeah,
Just
I
wanna be
think I
clear.
introduced it, and that's all. it was.
First is the
One more
motion to
question
table
before we move
for
on.
additional
Okay.
information.
Thank you, I just wanna be clear.
Just, if you have a question, you wanna make the motion before we go on.
Well, the question I had was about the new code that you mentioned, that with me selling the property, if I was just to sell the property and not deal with any of this, this would just go on the other property owner, is that right?
That's-
that
I
how I
think
understand
that's-
that?
It connects, the lien is against the property, not the owner.
So, if I didn't come today to try and at least pay the minimum fees that could have been due, like this wouldn't really be my property my problem after the first of.
Yes, but your buyer would be rather upset, and your title, and their title
Well, of
insurance
course,
company
that's why I'm trying to do the
would
right
not,
thing.
they would not have closed because they figured out by now that they better check with code enforcement.
Sure,
Which they
I
do
mean,
on a regular basis.
If they didn't, or if they don't, then they wouldn't even know about this until they go to register as a.
I'm not gonna give you legal advice, but I'd suggest you ask your lawyer about what would happen if that happened.
Sure, I'm just trying to wrap my head
So,
around it.
do I entertain a
Okay, it's a
motion
lien again. It's like
for
if you didn't pay your
table?
I
taxes.
get that, I know what lien is.
Okay, let's,
Under the circumstances of what, has unfolded, I would like to remake the motion,
Yeah.
that we table this matter and get an updated, certification that the sprinklers have been, sprinklers has been updated and, for what else again, that's
About the address.
and the address, yes,
Recalculate the fees.
so that we could,
Yeah.
reconsider the appeal.
it's, you want it to, that we have substantiation for all of the things
Yes.
here, right?
Yeah.
The property use certification, the smoke detector,
And the sprinklers.
and the sprinkler.
You do, the code office, you do have all of that updated, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, you do have it.
Okay, so we don't need any copies of this.
You shouldn't.
Thank you.
Okay, so do I have a second?
Can we just clarify what this motion is now, because we changed it again? Can you
It's a-
clarify your motion?
It's a motion to table the matter, the
Mhm.
appeal,
Mhm.
to verify every, compliance, especially with the code, with the sprinklers and every other compliance issue that came up, and to reconsider if we are reducing, the charges or not.
And who seconded it? Mark did, okay.
Okay, got it.
Any
Thank
other,
you.
any other
Thank you.
discussion?
We
You call,
discussed everything already.
okay, have a,
Commissioner Livermore,
yes.
Commissioner Nikitobi,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yeah.
Commissioner Vashnik. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
okay, so we'll See you again next month, Mr. Katz, all right? All right, now we'll get to
Yeah.
Mr. Mussolino.
Thank you all for the opportunity to be heard on this. I'd like to say that I'm not a big landlord. I own one property, I live there. I rent the other half to friends of mine at a very reasonable rent. And I've always taken very seriously inspections. This time, it seems to have gotten away from me. And the first one, the electrical inspection, was done by Mark Hogue. I know that he's somehow connected with the electricians here in town. So Mark did the inspection on September 25, and it was due on the 29th. He somehow felt it was due on the 30th, so he sent it on the 30th, and I brought about a $250 fine. I have his inspection report, if you'd like to see that, and the date it was completed.
Well, I guess one problem we have here, Mr. Mussolino, is that you submitted these appeals, the code officer got it on November 17th, which is beyond the 30 days of the bill, am I correct? So that, according to the code, I think we can't even hear this,
I went by
I don't think we can hear the appeal.
They,
Yeah. That's correct, right? Dave, it's like, it's 30 days.
Unless he can show you that in fact it was filed within 10 days, or, I don't know, is it 10 days or 30 days?
30 days.
30 days.
30
then
Yeah,
days.
and from what-
10/31, this was 10/31.
Oh, does that say number 2 on it?
There was a couple, yeah, a couple did say that, the
I just went
October,
by when I received these.
yeah,
So the number 2 bills,
yeah.
if that's what that says, that's what he's looking at, which we have a copy of that too. He can appeal those.
Okay, so those are only the ones that have the number 2 on it can be appealed. Because those were within the, so,
Which ones have the number 2? I have a bunch of them here, there's so many.
okay, so,
I have the original here,
Well,
here's the number of them here.
what they said.
Where would I see the number 2?
it should say it right on the invoice, like, the one for the property use certification.
Number two, this was 10/31/25, so he got it within 30 days.
I had the post office, I forgot to bring that receipt
Yeah.
from when I mailed them, but I got the receipt of when I mailed everything in.
So.
Yeah, the two that you could, is the heating inspection and the
those
property
are all
use.
appealable.
So let me see which ones are.
So the only ones would be the second invoice on the property use certification and the heating inspection one. Only those two that he can appeal, which is the one's for $140 and the other one is for $210. That's invoice number 2025-1342 and 2025-1343. If you guys are looking at.
Heat inspection 2, there's one here, 10/29.
Let me ask, there's how many violations? There's one violation for electrical inspection, we got 1 day late.
And that was,
Hold on,
sorry,
hold on.
Yeah,
sorry.
I believe so, right?
Is there anything else?
And then the property use, that one.
There was the property use one, and I had the form actually completed and misread the date and ended up sending it late. That one was 14 days late, and I was charged an additional $140 on top of the $250. So,
But, yeah, I mean, your mistake does not really give us the, if I understand, it doesn't give us the ability to waive that appeal, if I understand it correctly.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Right, I mean, it doesn't,
It seems like the electrical inspection, he had the electrical inspection actually done before the due date.
And I can't control that, he had that.
Hold on just a
Sorry,
second.
I'm sorry.
And
yeah,
as
And
we've had
Mr.
other cases previously, he
Mr. Holt.
assumed the electrician would turn the form
Right.
in, and it was turned in 1 day late.
right, same song, second verse,
So I think,
Yeah.
under the provision that he actually had, the code, the code was never, the electrical violation had never occurred because he actually had the inspection done before it was due.
so would you like to,
Proof of the inspection.
I would like to move to accept that.
okay, and that one is for, yeah, the second one, right?
This one that Marco did?
Yeah,
Is that proof of the inspection?
This is from, the electric inspection of the law code dated the 25th. I assumed that he was sending that
To you?
to the
Right,
correct
I did
date,
read that on
29th,
there.
the
Do
deadline.
you have anything to say? You want to address us on that? You want to address us on this, please?
Want to address the electrical inspection?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so we are the code office. Everything is determined by documentation. So,
Right.
Exactly.
number one, he did have the electrical inspection done before the due date. Number two, it was submitted late according to the administrative fee letter. Number three, we have a late appeal. So if you are
A light
voting to,
appeal.
it would only, we could only do it on this second one, right, the heating inspection number 2?
right, and I know there was a motion to open it up for hearing a late appeal. So that's up to you guys if you want to accept late appeals.
So are you saying,
Wait, what are we talking about now? Are we talking about the heating inspection?
yes, the heating,
I would suggest that I made a motion to deal with the electrical inspection only,
oh, the electrical,
and see if we can figure that out first. To me, it seems kind of simple.
That's what that's the invoice.
I would second that motion. We deal with this and then we take the others
yes, the electrical.
subsequently.
But the electrical, yeah, John is right, though, the electrical inspection is, it was, the appeal to it was submitted late, right?
Right,
So
so,
we can't,
Oh.
Our-
we cannot hear that one,
yeah,
Thank you
from
for-
the code enforcement office, I would tell you not to hear a late appeal.
right,
Because
Okay,
that
okay,
cannot-
okay,
Potentially
okay.
could cause a problem for
Absolutely.
future
Oh, okay,
appeals.
thank you.
I tell you that from the
yeah.
city attorney's office. too.
right,
You
thank
can't,
you.
you can't consider something you have no jurisdiction over.
Yeah, we
Okay.
cannot, we
After-
cannot,
after the
yes,
date.
Seems
Of the
so
filing of
unfair,
the appeal.
had it done at the date.
but you didn't submit this appeal in the timely fashion,
Seems so
as according as, I mean, there's nothing, sir, we can really do on that, I mean, that's what the law is,
Very
I can't-
It's so expensive to be in the city.
yeah, I mean,
This is more than $1,100 in fines.
we,
And I have
we
my
s-
property
yeah.
taxes.
I can appreciate
And
the
I'm not a big
frustration,
landlord. I just live in a house and I rent to some
Yeah.
friends.
yeah, but, you know, I can't,
This is ridiculous.
our hands are really tied on it because we cannot do
Okay,
anything
so the
about
motion
that.
doesn't stand.
There is no motion.
There's no
There's no
motion.
motion. Okay.
It's illegal.
What about the only ones we can look at would be the number 2, invoices, the second invoices that are within that time frame. I mean, first, we can look at it, whether, you know,
I also suggest it's very difficult to find an electrician. On
Yeah.
that list, I received so many no's and so many unretires.
I get that, I get that, yeah, I've been there myself as a homeowner, so,
I can sympathize with that. The problem is that you were notified of these fees at a particular date. After you receive that notification, you have 30 days to make an appeal,
exactly.
and you did not make 30 days to make the appeal.
I thought that
documentation apparently shows that you didn't.
Yeah,
So
we have it here as
basically,
November
You
17th.
cannot, we cannot legally accept an appeal on the electrical inspection.
So, when I mailed them, I had a receipt.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not the issue. The issue is that you should have appealed the,
Right,
you got a notification that you're gonna be, have fees. You should have appealed that notification within 30 days, and you didn't. You should have brought that to this commission, and you didn't. And we're stuck with the law. We can't change that. We can't we
I
can't.
thought that I had done that.
It is unfortunate, but unfortunately, we can't control it.
right.
There's nothing we can do. So we're on to the other violations that are, we have to consider. You understand?
Right. So, we had though, there's a heating inspection and property use form that invoices. Those ones, I'm looking at the number 2, this is, you know, if we look at the property use certification one, that the number 2, that's invoice number 2025-1342, its date is October 31st. Do you wanna, as far as, tell us a little bit about the property use form,
Yeah.
that one?
I had completed it before the date and just busy work, other things. I completed it and did not send it. So I absolutely admit I was wrong. But when I looked at the amount of money, $250 fine, and then when I realized that I, for some reason, was thinking it was later, $140 additional, so it cost me $390 just for that. For that, for missing those days for the
correct,
form.
right.
It's important, I understand, all of this is important, these
Yeah.
inspections are very important. My electrical inspection cost me the work cost me $1,000, but it was important work, I don't, it's just,
Yeah, I mean, again,
You have to understand that we're bound by the city code. And
exactly,
there are certain circumstances where we can
I do understand.
adjust for violations, but in this particular case, $390 is a lot of money, but we can't change that. There are certain provisions where we can reduce it based on other things, but your case was that you just were late and you didn't pay it on time.
so
You didn't submit the forms on time.
I would make a motion, we deny this appeal. Is there a second?
Second.
You second, and discussion?
I was thinking, is
Okay.
it possible that, because we are also trying to learn from this new code thing, if we can have a community education on this new code and have letters to landlords to come together and just ask
Well,
questions about this new
We
code.
can talk
and
about
get compliance.
we can talk a little bit about those types of things later in the agenda.
Okay.
But far as for this, any other discussion? Call the vote?
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nikitobi,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boschnick.
Motion passes on that. And then we had the heating inspection one. Do you wanna talk a little bit about that situation, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at fault because I thought it was November. I had all of these come together at the same time, 3 of them. For some reason in my head, I thought it was November. So immediately, as soon as I realized, I tried to get heating person, Muffig is the one who did it. I thought he came as soon as he could to do that. So
Any feedback, John, on that? I'm just kind of, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I just
just,
understand it, it seems so unreasonable. I mean, I'm not a big landlord.
If you understand, they don't write the statutes.
Yeah.
The Common Council writes the statutes. You want the Common Council to change the statute from 30 days to 45 days, 60 days to 90 days, whatever, you can talk to your alderman, your council member, and ask them to amend the not this board. So if you believe that they're acting in an inhuman way, or the statute's inhuman, then bring a proceeding in Supreme Court, declare it inhuman. But they don't have the discretion to change the law. They're
To
not,
even address these fines that seem unreasonable?
We
they
are
can
very,
address the fines as they're allowed to by the statute. They don't create the statutes, they simply implement them. If you wanna change the statutes, go to your council member. And if you convince the council member that 30 days isn't long enough for you to file an appeal, that it needs to be 45 days, or 46 days, or 47 days, then you can go to them
I
and
was just
suggest.
looking for some humanity, that's all. Whether it's 30 days is fine.
can I entertain a motion for this one?
Pass.
I'll make a motion to deny the appeal.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? Call the
And
vote?
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nikitobi, Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boschnick.
Okay, Mr. Hamilton
Yes.
from Luther?
Yep.
All right. So you want to explain a little bit on your electrical,
Well, the electrical was done before the due date.
okay,
You obviously didn't receive it from the code, same situation as this gentleman, till after,
you said 2 days before the due date, right? Is
Yeah.
when it came in.
so that should be off the table. Do you have a copy of that?
I think I might. I think you did.
I don't think we did.
Did you? I think maybe a subsequent, right? Yes, I did receive that.
I don't think we did.
So, okay, so it was this is the date,
This was the date of
You
the
get it,
inspection
that's
was
when we
completed,
got it.
that's when we got it.
and this is what we go by, right? Or do we go like this?
That's what we go by in his particular case. I mean, he had the inspection done, he probably thought Marco was gonna submit it
Right.
to us. So,
So
the case where he differs is he actually appealed in time.
yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely, yeah, that's not the issue.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I did get that, and, yeah. So, what is the pleasure of the board? What do you have questions, or do you want to, on this particular one, on the electrical?
So the inspection was done before the due date, is that correct?
Yeah, it's just that Mr. Ho did not submit it.
He has a long list of reasons.
So,
And how much was he fined?
the electrical is $280, right?
470.
I mean, the question is whether, I mean, the code office didn't get it till the 12th of September, but he did it, he had it done on the 5th of September. Mr. Hoag did it on the 5th, but didn't submit it till the 12th, so that's the issue.
So it met the deadline of our code.
We can,
The
Except-
question really is whether,
Minimum
Except we did,
protection.
except we did receive.
yeah,
That's your issue here.
What is
The
it?
new code states that there's a minimum fee protection. Basically saying that
right,
you are able to waive or reduce, or you're able to reduce a bill to either 250 or
50%.
50% of the so if you have a $3,000 bill, you can reduce it all the way down to $1,500. But the minimum fee protection in the code, and this is the first time that you guys are
Right.
dealing with this new code,
So we could only
is a
take,
minimum fee protection of $250.
so we could only take $30
Correct.
off of it.
Right.
I guess I would argue that he had the inspection done before the due date, is that correct?
Correct.
So what the failure was, the notification did not arrive at the code enforcement office. How long after the due date did that occur?
on Unfortunately, that's not an
It
issue.
was
again.
about a week after, I think, right, it was the 12th of September, when, 12th of September, so it was 1 week from the inspection to when the code officer
Which-
got it.
Which again brings in,
The pre-
he got the inspection done,
Yes,
which gives you the ability to waive it since his contractor,
we can simply,
or I mean, not waive it, but reduce
We
it.
can take $30
we
off.
also have the
that's
ability,
all.
I believe, to accept his appeal.
But there's a
If-
minimum
if the
fee.
fine, if the fine was inappropriately put into place because the work was in fact done, then there should be no fine.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly, that makes
In the,
sense.
in the previous
That makes
case,
Because if the work was done and simply not submitted through no fault of the property owner, then the fine should not be implemented at all.
Exactly.
If the fine was legitimately
the
applied,
previous,
then you can reduce it to 50%.
the previous
But if the
case,
fine was inappropriately applied in the first place, then I think the board has the authority to waive it.
in the previous case for the electrical inspection of this other gentleman, we accepted his, no, we couldn't accept it because he,
Yeah,
It was-
right.
I would make a motion to accept this appeal based on the fact that he had the inspection done
Okay.
before the
No,
actual
just-
due date.
I will second that.
You second that? Any other discussion? You get, Mark, any comments that you have, or
No, I was,
If you
I,
can show that,
I,
if you show
in the
that
same
it's
line?
Mark's fault.
Okay, we'll call the vote.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good. It's Mark's fault.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nikitobi,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes,
Commissioner Vashnick.
yes.
So we
Right, so
accept that
that
appeal
one was so approved.
Auto inspection.
for the electrical
For
inspection.
the electrical inspection. So we move to the furnace. You mentioned you had a difficult time getting a contractor, and finally got somebody, Mr. Burgess is who you got, right, on the
Yes.
middle?
Yeah,
Okay.
the
You
one
s-
issue is.
You stopped by the code office, right?
Yes, I mean, I got my certified letter 3 weeks later, because I worked during the day, and the lady would put the dates on here from the post office when trying to get delivered.
Right, yeah,
And I finally got a card in my mail on the last date, so I immediately went in, got the, so I was left with 5 weeks.
5 weeks to
get
do
all
it,
the stuff
right.
done. So as far as the heating, I called at least 10 people. 2 people called me back, they said they were like 3 months out. So I called code enforcement to let them know, listen, I'm having a really hard time, do you suggest somebody? And they're like, well, we can't really suggest somebody, but they did. They said, try somebody on the bottom of the list, because they're probably not getting a lot of calls, so I did. And the guy was able to come over, I believe, the next week. So as soon as I got that date picked, I went into code enforcement, let them know, listen, I've been trying to get a hold of people, and I don't even know how many of these letters went out. Like, I mean, did they go out to every landlord in the city?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, you got everybody scrambling, trying to find HVAC and plumbers to come do this work, and, you know what I mean? So,
But you,
that was the issue. is I
so you, the
couldn't
code
get
officer,
anybody.
the code officer apparently you spoke with was Andrew, right? Is
Yes.
according-
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not here, I mean, cause, I mean, we have in past talked about that if the person comes in and tries to work with the code officer, but, I
so
mean, I don't know.
what
you
does
have
the
to have
code enforcement
documentation.
office have to say?
Yeah, did you just
Verification,
talk to him, or
right?
did you email him or anything?
Who?
Andrew,
Well, I went in and spoke to him to let him
Spoke to him in
know,
person.
hey, I finally got somebody scheduled for the following week to come in and do my furnace, but, I've tried the first 10 people on the list, and nobody's calling me back, and those that did are 3 months out. So, I just wanted to let him know, because I'm concerned about getting fined. Everything's set up, but it's not gonna be for a few days after the due date.
Wait, we do have this here.
oh, you do?
Yep,
Okay.
we have a note here. Dan Hamilton came into the window, 9/11/25, to say that he had been working on getting heating inspections. So that was on September 11th, when you came into the office to talk to Andy.
Right, and then it was about a week later, roughly a week later, that the guy actually came and
Right,
did.
he came on the 16th
Right,
and
right.
did the furnace inspection.
I guess that we are covered by the.
When was the furnace inspection due?
Inspection,
7th.
September 7th?
Yep.
so
So 4 days later, he contacted, and then sometime after that, the inspection was done.
Well, I contacted them before that, trying to get a name that I could call, because everybody I was calling was too busy.
Okay, so actually, before you talked to Andrew, you called to get
I
the list.
called to get a name
A list.
that they would suggest, which they told me they're not supposed to.
They're not.
Right.
You
But
can figure
they
out why
basically-
by yourself.
They basically
You
told
need
me,
to tell you why we
why
do it.
don't you start at the bottom of the list and go backwards, because they're the ones not getting phone calls, which makes sense, so I did, and immediately got some, here, got somebody.
What thoughts from the board? Can you,
Well, at what point does the property owner, do they, have they acted enough to try to meet
yeah, that's a good question.
their obligations? I mean, does everything have to be dotted to do that? Or is it, or if he makes a good faith effort to meet that date, is that acceptable?
So like,
It should be illegal.
yeah, I mean, like,
That's what the board is for.
right,
We're still trying to get this code,
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
you know. so
I mean,
it's
I think the thing to remember with the code office is that we require documentation. We've got notes that Andy inputted. Obviously, this was, you know, the letter, certified letter was sent out in July. He came in September 11th to
That
talk
was
to
the
him.
first time that you have it recorded?
I don't know that. I don't know if you had
Well, I
prior
called before
correspondence.
that, just to
Okay.
let them, to try to get a name of contractor
Okay.
I could use.
I believe him. I believe he tried to call. But yeah, I mean, a good faith effort, we have that. So with housing inspections, if we're completely booked and somebody puts something on the schedule, and they meet that day, they have clearly tried to meet the obligation, but we couldn't on our end because we weren't available, you know, to do it. That's different. But this one, again, we're stuck with documentation that we have.
Right, so that's
So is
basically
our
it.
legal advice that this?
Well,
this
here's
appeal-
the analogy.
Go ahead.
He was saying that his concern was that all of these get sent out to all the landlords when they're due, and so everybody's looking for landmarks. Well, taxes are due on April 15th, and if someone's looking for a CPA to do, or someone to do their tax returns, and they're all busy, and they don't get the tax return in, but they call IRS, and he said, we went to H&R Block, and H&R Block was really busy, and so I didn't get my taxes in, therefore you should not fine me for it. I mean, it's the same thing. There are deadlines. He knows there are deadlines. It's hard to get people to do it. When he went to the back of the line, he got it. Again, there's a difference between saying I couldn't get somebody because everybody is busy, and then when I tried really hard, I got somebody, but I didn't get it in time, and saying therefore we should, because again, once you set a precedent, and you say, well, if they come in advance, well, what if they come 3 weeks in advance? What if they come the day before? What if they come on that day? And say, I've been trying really hard, but I haven't been able to do it. So then what you start doing is getting different slices of bologna. How much, not to say that what you're saying is not true, but you're saying, okay, well, this day is gonna be okay, and then the next day it's gonna be okay, and if they come the week before, it's gonna be okay, but it's not gonna be a week after. And someone says, hey, wait a minute, you know, what are you friends with this guy? You know, he came in a week before and said that he was trying real hard, and so you waive his fee. Well, if I come in a week before, 3 days before, and say I'm working real hard and I don't file it, are we gonna say, okay, well, that's okay too? And, you know, so it becomes very mushy. It's like the other applicant earlier, he said, just be human. Well, you gotta stop somewhere, and the answer is that whenever you create a precedent, in order to be fair to all the other people, then you created a precedent. And of course it's hard. It's hard to be a landlord. People think that passive income, being a landlord, is easy. It's not. It's expensive. It's crazy expensive. Then you have crazy tenants who do all kinds of damage to your property. Leave the toilets running, and and you get water bills, and so it's not easy to be a landlord. But one of the rules about being a landlord is that there are health and safety issues, and if somebody gets, because they didn't get the inspection, somebody dies, and they come back to the city and say, well, why didn't you enforce it? You knew what it was, you knew that he was late, you know, so it's the ramifications.
So we have to determine, is it a
That's the
warrant
issue.
enough or not? That's the question.
Is what,
Does it warrant enough that, you know, that, I mean, to me, it sounds like, well, I don't even know if that applies.
I mean, there's nothing in the code that says,
No, not really.
before this board that says, and if they came in early,
No,
and they
that's what I'm
told
saying,
you,
there's
and-
nothing on our
and
criteria.
therefore it was late, and therefore up to 10 days late, this board can waive it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, there's
those-
nothing,
those
I don't,
options
yeah, I
aren't
don't,
there. If you can show extenuating circumstances, you can reduce the fine.
so,
I guess we have to move to deny.
you gonna make that motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Second?
I'll say,
Okay, any other discussion? All right, call to vote,
Commissioner Livermore,
yes?
Commissioner Nikki Toby,
No.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boschnick.
yes.
Motion passes, and we have one more here of yours, and that's the housing inspection. It was scheduled before my due date, but was not done until October 16th. I did not realize I'd be fined if the appointment were scheduled before my due date. If I knew I was going to be fined $470, I would have scheduled it sooner.
Yeah, so the day that I was in there talking to Andrew, explaining about the heating, that's when we made the appointment, which was, you know, a few days before. So I was under the, you know, we made the appointment and, you know, I don't wanna throw anybody under the bus, but nobody said anything, cause we scheduled it for about a month out. Well, nobody said to me, you know, just so you know, you're gonna be fined $10 a day until this gets done. You know what I mean? If I knew that, I would've been like, well, come over to my house tomorrow, let's get it over with.
Did you get the
But-
notice?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you the same question.
Did you get the notice?
The notice,
The administrative fee letter, is that what
Yeah,
you're talking about? Yes.
right.
We've got it
Because you can't
signed.
depend on, these people work with people 247, right? Like plumbers, they are always on the run, on the move. They can't always remember to tell you word of mouth. You can't rely on that.
right.
So if they are busy, they can be talking to you at the same time, their mind is not there. And I bet you that if it was, any of them would have told you, just like he did the other guy, oh, hey, you have bills running up. They would have told you.
Well, what if code enforcement
they
was
didn't.
busy and they're the ones that had to schedule it a month out? So I'm the one that gets screwed?
Well, they
Because
sent the
code enforcement
document.
was busy?
Well, they sent you the document. So what you're saying is you
No,
were
I'm
with
saying
them.
we scheduled the appointment for my housing inspection when I was at the code enforcement office.
Listed the housing
When I was standing there talking to Andrew. And we scheduled it for about a month out. And, you know, nothing was said to me, just so you know, you're gonna get fined $10 a day up to this month.
You received.
So I don't know if code enforcement was busy
No,
and they
it's-
scheduled it
You
that
received-
day because they were too busy to do it, like, if they're too busy, why am I getting fined for it?
No.
You received a letter
Yeah, too many
notifying
colors.
you that there was a date by which you had to have these things corrected.
Right,
And in that letter, it describes specifically
Yeah.
the fine.
correct,
So you were notified.
right.
So it
But
wasn't
you went,
his,
so then you went down to the code enforcement office, and now you're telling us, well, they didn't say anything. You were already notified. That's your duty to pay attention
Right.
to the official notification from the code enforcement in this letter, which is stamped and sealed and
So
everything.
if code enforcement was busy for the next 4 months.
No, no,
and
No.
couldn't get me in,
no.
then I'm gonna get fined $10 a day.
And it's
up
not
to-
deliberate.
It's not code enforcement's job.
yeah.
Code enforcement people sent you a letter saying you have to do this by a certain date, and you fail to do it. It doesn't matter whether you talk to code enforcement or you whatever, you scheduled something which was not gonna be done for a month after it was
Right.
due.
Yeah,
And they are not telling you it's not deliberate. Because sometimes, you're talking to them and they're busy,
Right.
they're thinking of doing the next thing, and, they may not even remember to say, oh, but they know that the letter has been sent
Well,
out.
it's just funny that the largest fine that I'm getting out of all this is the work that code enforcement's supposed to be doing. Everything else I'm supposed to take care of.
What are they
So,
supposed to be doing?
I
The
wanna
housing
remind the board,
inspection. When
this was signed
they're
for
supposed to do
July.
a housing inspection.
This was
What are
signed
they
for in
supposed
July,
to be
and
doing?
it
That's the
came in
biggest fine
September.
I'm getting.
What are they
So,
supposed to be doing? What is
almost
the
2 months
certificate
after.
supposed to be
Yeah,
doing?
so it's way,
I'm saying
way
code
after the.
enforcement's supposed to come in and inspect my house. That's
Yeah.
what this,
So
But it was a
John,
month
John just
later.
said it was like he came in 2 months after he got the notification, so that even solidifies more. I don't think, I make a motion that we deny the appeal. Is there a second?
I second.
Any other discussion? Call to vote?
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nikitobi,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boschnick.
Passes, okay. And we moved on to the new business of 352 Chestnut Street, the garage, declaring it unsafe. The code enforcement letter states 2 reasons why it should be unsafe. Are there, oh yeah, the pictures are here, okay. So the first one is the interior walls or vertical structure memberless, lean or buckle to such an extent that a plumb line passing through the center of gravity falls outside of the middle third of its base. Those who exclude, the second one, those which exclusive of the foundation show 33% of more damage or deterioration of the supporting member or members or 50% of damage or deterioration of the non-supporting enclosing or outside walls or covering. So, the code enforcement
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to trust Andy on this.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody knows Andy's background, but he was a home builder, custom home builder for 20 years. Somebody called, said, we have a garage, what is the process for taking it down? Andy went out and looked at it, said it is leaning, substantially leaning, and you might be able to see the lean in that first photo.
yeah.
It's on the left side.
Yeah, I did see
Um,
that.
So again, I'm gonna have to trust that Andy's judgment of that building.
Who is it the owner of the house?
I'm sorry?
The Andy, is it the owner of the house?
No, this is Andy Walker.
Oh, okay.
He
He's
works in
the
our
code,
office.
code officer.
He's the one who actually went on site and evaluated the building.
To demolish. Who's asking to demolish?
And the owner is asking for us to condemn the building so we can take it down.
Right, demo order.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't condemn the building?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean,
Have you seen it? Okay, you said
I
Andy
have
has.
not personally
Andy
seen it,
has.
so
Okay,
yeah, I
sorry,
have to
didn't
trust
know
that
you
Andy, yeah.
So we have to trust Andy. huh?
Trust Andy.
I'll make a motion to condemn the building.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the owner asking, so.
who's gonna second it? All right,
Do we need
discussion.
clauses in the motion of why we're condemning it?
Do we need-
Usually Marge would read off the particular
Based on
reasons,
the-
which,
Include the clauses,
right,
the
Yes.
clauses A and B or whatever.
yeah.
Right,
I don't know that you have to read them, but you could say them.
Okay, then I'll stick with what I motioned.
okay. Any discussion? Okay, call.
Okay, Commissioner Livermore,
Yes,
Commissioner Nikitobi,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes,
Commissioner Boschnick.
now do we need to do the next thing to?
Right, you would issue a demolition order, considering what time of year it is. Again, I haven't talked to are you the owner of 352 Chestnut? Okay, I just
No,
wanted
no.
to, okay. I haven't personally talked to the owner, but considering the time of year it is, it may be difficult to.
Spring.
Yeah, so I'd probably set a demo order out. It's not, I don't think it is in a place that is going to immediately affect life safety. So I think even if you did a 60 or 90-day order, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay,
That would be sometime in April?
March or April,
March
depending.
or
So do we have to make another motion?
Yeah, we do. I
So
mean,
there's no danger of it's gonna collapse and kill the neighbor's cat.
Right.
May collapse to kill the neighbor's
Yeah,
cat.
I
It may
can't say
collapse
that it
over
won't
the-
happen, but I'm not really concerned about it. I've
We
seen.
never make guarantees about no
Right.
danger.
Except there's a, God forbid, a tornado, I don't think it's gonna go down.
So we don't run a risk of making 90 days, would that be too far out?
Because of the weather.
I would say if we see something change with that building,
Okay, okay, good.
say a heavy snowfall and the roof collapses, we will be back here.
so we would
Okay,
just,
so
we
we
would
can
just
adjust the
relook at
motion
it.
to reflect
Right.
that.
Well, I think you have to make another one if you wanna make it fit.
We could adjust the motion to just say, you know, that code enforcement keep us updated, right? Or we don't need to?
What's that? I'm
We
sorry.
could adjust the motion to say that you'd keep us, you would keep an eye on it to keep us updated.
I
or we
would
don't
probably
need to.
make a motion for a set period of time so we have a date on the books, and then
Hmm.
I will keep you informed. I don't think the motion needs to include.
Yeah,
I'll keep
so
you
far we
informed.
just have a motion to condemn the building.
Yeah, we
That
have,
was
a-
it.
So I'll add, make that motion for 90 days, to be completed. to
Issue a
be
demo order.
Demolished.
Demolished in 90 days.
Yeah, because you already voted on the motion to declare it unsafe,
Mhm.
and now this is the demolition.
is there a second to that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Call to vote?
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes?
Commissioner Nicotovi,
Yes.
Commissioner Hartley,
Yes,
Commissioner Bostock.
Motion passes. All right. And then our last thing last but not least, it's, to just talk briefly, follow up with, we had some questions, right, about the code, and Dave Merzig's here to help us with any of that. I mean, I think, Charles, one of your concerns was the wording of initial fee versus, the minimum fee, right? Was that one of your concerns?
yeah. I'm not sure whether Mr. Mercer got the point of view. At one place in the code, it talks about the minimum fee as described elsewhere. And everybody assumes that the minimum fee is the initial fee, because that is indeed, if you have an initial fee and nothing else, it turns out to be the minimum fee. But the wording says, as described elsewhere. Well, there is no other description of minimum fee in the document.
Yeah, there are other minimum fees in the statute, not that apply to you, but,
Yes.
but in the code. And I think that, again, this was, I don't know much inside baseball. Stephen prepared this statute and passed it and put it in place, and I did not have a full opportunity to review it.
Oh,
And it was implemented, not over my dead body because I'm still alive. It was
just, the wording needs, I think the wording needs to be changed.
I
so
think the
it's
wording needs to be
clear.
changed as well. I mean, in the circumstance that applies in this situation, as we were talking about earlier, there's a minimum fine, and then there's administrative fees that go on top of it. And the point is, if there's been you can mitigate the fees, you can mitigate the administrative fees, but you can't mitigate the original violation.
Yes.
So I think that was the intent, but it's worded poorly at best. So that's, and like I said, when we were talking earlier about the other issue, mitigation of the administrative fees is authorized with the exceptions that are set forth in the statute. But the other is not. So, and that was the intent there. And again, I think we're gonna revisit this statute and make some changes as per, I did send out an email, which you should have all gotten.
Yeah,
as
right.
to what my interpretation was and what I'm gonna suggest to the council to clean this up.
Okay.
yeah, and then I think we had another one that, it reads, the board may uphold, reduce, or waive administrative fees which do not exist in this chapter, that's chapter 9114, in the new section D. Is the board permitted ever to waive a fee entirely under mitigating circumstances, or in the case of the owner occupied financial hardship covered in former 86-22G, or must the 50% rule now apply to all fee reductions? It appears the code office error is the only time we may uphold an appeal, but is that also subject to the minimum fee recovery? And then,
And I think we answered that earlier today when we said, if the violation never occurred, as in the situation where the inspection was completed prior, prior to the implementation of the fine, you know, it's, I can only think of the Latin phrase, which is not helpful.
Maybe I'm wrong.
There
but
should be no there should be no fine if there was no finable offense.
It seems to me that if we accept the appeal, that means that there is no fee. It's not.
If what's being appealed is the underlying action,
Yes,
if the appeal
yes.
is for excess fees or something like that, then that's a different story.
Yes.
But for the underlying violation, either it occurred or it didn't occur. If it occurred, then the minimum fine
Yes.
is in place and cannot be waived. If there are mitigating circumstances on the administrative fees
But the-
as per set forth.
The question is kind of worded to me as though we are now stuck with always the minimum fee. and
Only if
that's
the
not-
minimum fee is appropriately
Is
applied.
appropriate, yes, that's
If
correct.
you are, you're stuck with a minimum fee if the minimum fee was
That's
appropriately
correct.
applied.
But if it's not appropriate, there is no minimum fee.
Correct, because there's no violation. We're not gonna charge somebody for speeding if they weren't speeding.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with that, I guess. And then another 9114D, escalating in administrative fees for repeal violations. Are the second, third, fourth, and subsequent violations a minimum fee, or can they be halved under the 50% choir requirement? Is another.
And the answer is, if the board has the authority to mitigate because of the extenuating circumstances as authorized by the statute, then you can always mitigate. But if you mitigate the second, third, and fourth, it begins to look like you're not paying, somebody's not paying attention. But you do have the authority to mitigate administrative fees on the second, third, or fourth, if in fact you make the determination that there were mitigating factors in those circumstances. But again, when you get repeat offenders, as with all repeat offenders, that's up to the discretion of the board still, but the city would hope that you would exercise your discretion carefully.
Right.
The, in a related thing, that maybe not, well, it's not specific to this, but you were talking before about, the property owner's responsibility to get the proper documentation. And in one of the cases we heard where he went to the code enforcement and they knew that the work was in, that he was
They
making.
were trying to get,
What?
the work done.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any way to, put a stop to the upcoming deadline, or, you know, how is that conveyed? I'm still a little bit unclear about that.
Well,
And maybe my question was unclear.
well, no, the question's very clear. And again, there are situations where the code enforcement office will mitigate, if someone has an extraordinary circumstance, and they do it internally, it never gets to you because it was done, and it doesn't get to you, so you don't know that it happened. If it comes to you, you can be pretty well sure that it wasn't addressed at the code level.
Does that person have an option of going to the board, you seem to be saying, the council, to go to the council to?
The only matters that come before you are ones that are brought where the code enforcement office has violated the property owner and sent them the notification.
Right.
If it is handled internally, then it never comes to you. So if it comes to you, it means that nothing was ever worked out with the code board prior. Are you following that rationale? So if someone has worked it out with them, then they've worked it out with them. If they haven't worked it out with us, and it comes to you, it's because they haven't worked it out with them. And again, the statement of, I talked to Bob and Bob said he understood and I didn't have to worry about anything, that's problematic. Because bureaucracies can't work that way.
things that we see, and tonight we had an example, but not exactly the same one. I get the indication that property owners will wait until the last minute, because if they do it early, that means their next inspection has to be early, and that means that I think that may be the cause of some of these people getting into trouble because they can't find somebody. We've had cases of the electrical inspections repeatedly having that same thing. And it's not clear what we could do about it or what the city could do about it.
Again, right now, the board does not have the discretion.
No.
It's like an inspection on your car. If you have it inspected if it runs out in December, and you have it re-inspected in September, then the next year comes round.
But you heard the plea from the citizen. You heard the plea from the citizen that somehow I don't understand. What the owner doesn't understand is you are responsible, not the city.
I understand that.
But there's nothing we can.
Apparently the person who's attending, whose appeal was denied, does not understand that.
And that is not the first one we've had.
Sure, I get it.
Not even close.
I understand, and I not only do I understand, I sympathize.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
hard.
again, if you or anyone else like you believes that the rules that are imposed upon this board are improper, illegal, or fattening, go to the common council who has the authority to change the rules. And they can change the rules.
And that's what we repeatedly
Correct,
tell
you can
people.
correct it in such a way as to make it human, but you see, the other alternative is to do nothing, in which case the landlords who own 24 properties do nothing and say, come and get us, we don't care, we'll pay whatever fine you wanna do. Come, bring us to court 6 months from now. And we don't care, we'll pay you $250, we don't give a crap. We'll see you then, try to enforce it.
The only, and I don't disagree with.
But but $10 a day, all of a sudden, people come in, and you know what, when they come in and they're denied once, they come in the next year. And they do it the next year, and they do it the next year. And the only ones that come in are the ones who don't pay attention.
And the only thing I would say to that is, having got this and having called 5 or 6 electricians, have half of them tell me that, they're retired, they don't work, that list isn't updated. And if you're gonna require us to use those people that you put on a list for us,
They
that
have to be
list should
licensed, we can't say,
I'm not
and my
disagreeing
Uncle
with that,
Bob,
but
your
that should
Uncle
be-
Bob can do it.
That should be an updated list. I shouldn't be calling that list. I believe the list I got, and John, you and I have already talked about this, is that the list I got that came with the letter was from 2022, so 3 years old. It should be an updated list of, people that are actually working. That's the issue I came, because I did go through the list and call for people, and this council heard my case 2 months ago, where I had exactly what Dan had. I had my electrical inspection done, and the guy did not send it in, and I had proof that it was done on time and whatnot, and fortunately, you guys voted for that to be appealed in Dan's case and my case, but it's not my fault that the guys that you certify or, give the right to do those inspections are not upholding their end of the bargain.
Again, it's private enterprise inspects, we can't compel people to be independent electricians.
But you're making us use those people.
Well, that's because the people will die if we don't.
Yeah.
What do we
So,
do?
I
You
think-
want the city to do
I
the
would-
inspections?
I would disagree that people are gonna die if they don't use the inspectors that you
Did you
have
have
on
anything
the
else
list.
you needed?
Some are retired and some are not. I would strongly disagree with that. I think that's kind of a silly argument, but I can appreciate the fact
Who
that you
should
need
be
to.
authorized to do it?
I appreciate it, but we should have an updated list of people that are willing to do it.
Sure, and
We have a
when
problem
you
too.
need an electrician.
I'm gonna take that to legislative
Oh,
and change
okay.
the
You get
language
one?
of it.
Oh, okay.
But-
I had to call through that
First,
list and
right.
was able to find one at the bottom of the list, yes, but it's an outdated list.
So-
It's from 2022.
I think,
Again, you can go online and find inspectors just like anybody else can.
so I
But
think,
the list you gave us is the inspectors that the city
yeah,
approves, correct?
well,
If they're licensed in the city,
So you're giving us that list,
Yeah, we-
but it's not an
that's a
updated
list that
list.
we maintain.
Apparently not, because it's from 2022, is my point.
Well,
And I'm not,
That's-
and I'm not disagreeing that it needs to be
Can I ask?
done,
can
I'm
I
just
ask a
saying that the
question?
list that we're given is outdated and not maintained.
Can I ask a question to the code enforcement? There are people who are licensed to inspect electrical people in the city. I got the impression there's a separate list who are qualified to inspect, is that correct, for the code enforcement?
There's two lists. One is approved electrical inspectors,
Yeah,
that has Mark Hogue on it. And then there is a pretty, I would say for this municipality's size, a pretty large list
Electricians.
of licensed electricians who can perform the work.
so indeed, every electrician in town is not necessarily an inspector.
That's correct.
Yeah, there's quite a difference between the two. Can I call to for an adjournment?
I like motion to adjourn.
Second?
Yeah. Or we could just leave over here.
Do you have to call a vote for that? Okay.
Actually, Phil, you don't have to, you just pound the gavel.